Fleshies! Gather round, my favorite bags of water, my beloved Fleshies. Pull up a chair, grab some popcorn. Just make sure you don't drink the water. Trust me on this one, because the Boneyard Scribe is here. And I've got a story for you that's gonna make your squishy brains tingle. It's about microscopic horrors, alien invasions, and the surprising power of, well, you'll see. So settle in and try not to think about what might be swimming in your drinking water. And let's dive into Parasite. Our story begins the night of a meteor shower that involved many shooting stars. One of those meteors managed to pass through Earth's atmosphere. Somewhere over Lake Michigan, the space rock exploded. The explosion sent fragments into the lake, which honestly, no one thought anything of it. I mean, after all, we don't live in a sci-fi or horror story. Ships reported the fragments landing on their ship, and they looked like pieces of rock that were charred with weird crystalline balls embedded in the fragment. There were even reports of a strange fizzing sound as the fragments entered the lake. It sounded like a tablet was dissolving in the water. I personally watched the explosion take place from my home, and I felt an ominous feel in my gut as I watched it. Within a few days of the explosion, strange things began to happen. People were coming in with strange symptoms. They felt like their nerves were on fire. They were hearing voices in their head, but the voices were not their voice. And they had moments where they seemed to be asleep but would awaken out in the city or in their yard with a shovel in their hands. And they remember how they got there, but they didn't want to be there. With hundreds of people reporting these symptoms, doctors and scientists were called into action. We started looking into their day and what the patients had in common. With each passing hour, 100 would turn into 500, 500 would turn to 1,000, and 1,000 turned to 5,000. Eventually, we began to look at the lake as a possible source of the issue. Under the view of a microscope, we detected a strange organism. It looked like a worm with a round ball on it. Around the ball, there were 6 crystalline-tipped arms. One slide had 6 of these organisms in it. Now, these living things have never been seen before. We do not have proof that these animals are behind the strange symptoms. Then, an MRI was done on the first person that was brought in. It showed the parasite with its crystalline arms piercing the brain. It ran down the spine and seemed to pierce the spinal cord, and then followed the major nerves with crystalline growths running along them. As the day moved on, their symptoms grew worse. We don't know much about the parasite's biology. We don't know how it gains nutrients. What we know is that the hosts seem to have lost all their individuality. They no longer respond to their names. They have no interest in their hobbies. They no longer listen to music. They don't seem to be in control of their thoughts. Sometimes they appear to be talking to something, but no one is around them. None of the hosts talk. Their eyes are glazed over. They don't even whistle. Occasionally, they might let out a growl or a groan. Another thing that we've noticed is that they are not in control of their thoughts and actions. Nothing about them as a person seems to remain as the parasite takes over. everything is gone. They seem to want nothing but to be left alone. We still do not know what their purpose is for taking us as a host. They do not respond to any human voice. One can only assume that it's a way of carrying out an invasion. Doctors are worried that we may not be able to fix the situation. I'm not giving up on any of the hosts. We now know that there are officially 1 million people that are infected. We started to turn school gyms into hospitals. We are seeing the people getting skinnier because they are not eating, and so we have started giving them nutrients. People are reduced to shells, a pawn to the parasite. Their brain is still there, but it serves the organism. The body and the mind are now tools for the creature. We're allowing some of the hosts to carry out whatever the parasite is wanting them to do. Some are walking the beaches looking for fragments and throwing them into the lake, while others are armed with shovels or metal detectors, and they are looking for something in the ground. The people who only drink bottled water are free of the organism. We believe that there is some kind of central intelligence directing all their actions. We believe that the organisms are getting commands from this intelligence. We also believe that this mother organism is somewhere in Lake Michigan. The question is, can we stop the parasite and stop the creature that is pulling the strings? Our scientists are working to find a way to end the organism. We can rule out magnetism and X-rays. Sonar attached to ships are now searching the lake for any signs of an anomaly. The search for weakness continues. We need to find a way to free the affliction that the parasites hold. Just to review what we know they attach themselves to the nervous system. We don't know the important things, like the end game and the weakness. We need something, anything that will hurt the parasite. And then, out of the blue, something happens that is a miracle. A trainer at the Bee Memorial Zoo fell into a pool that holds beluga whales. Instantly, they start to flail a bit in the water as if in agony. The worker was removed from the water and brought to the hospital. Tests were ran, and an MRI was done, and what we discovered was simply amazing. There were no traces of it. 0. An MRI was done again, performed on the worker's body, and the parasite was gone. There were no traces of it in the brain or in anywhere else. Thinking it might be the whale's song that hurt the alien, we decided to weaponize the call. We had the zoo record hours of the whale's song, and then we recorded their calls and put them onto laptops. We attached the laptops to underwater speakers and put the speakers into pools across the entire region. 30 people were put into one pool. We had 6 laptops and underwater speakers that were again lowered into the water. Once all was good, we played the calls till we saw the flailing start to happen. When the flailing stopped and the people were safe, we took them back to the hospital where we waited. 12 hours later, everyone was back to being themselves. Now we just need to attack the lake. The idea was pitched to the Navy, the Coast Guard, the police, and fire crew. Here is our pitch. Our plan is to hook up the speakers to these boats and dangle them into the water. We would then play those recordings for 5 hours. We want to cover the lake with the beluga calls. We have boats lined up and down the lake. Their job is to fill the lake with these calls in hopes of killing the free-swimming parasites and the mother organism. We don't know if this mission is going to work, but we all crossed our fingers and hoped for the best. We kept it going until we got word that people who were in the hospitals and in the school gyms all started flailing all at once. The mission was a success. The creature is dead, and once it died, the parasites seemed to die too. We are free of the creature, and that is amazing. No more parasites, and if it happens again, which it could, we know how to attack it. We'll give it a week, and if no more afflictions appear, we know that our attack worked. It feels good to know that we have effectively dealt with our first alien invasion. Will we have another attack from the stars? Who knows? But we've proven that humans given a chance can overcome anything if we just work together. And so, dear Fleshies, we've come to the end of our tale. Who knew whale songs could be the ultimate alien repellent? Forget laser cannons. Just get yourself a beluga and a boombox. Anyway, as the barnyard scribe, I bid you adieu. From the humble abode here in the mausoleum, sweet dreams if you can even call them that. Pleasant nightmares, everybody. Goodbye.